Hey, well, this being when we come back live in the garden. We'll wait a couple of seconds here before we actually get into it. Tonight, family, I'm gonna go over a couple of things. Like I said, if you don't catch me live, then of course I definitely want you to check me out at a later date. Look out a Black Pistol. There you go, huh? Yeah. Bring me some M&Ms. How about that? Okay. Happy Halloween. While we're speaking of Halloween, remember, family, this right now we have, you know, a great ritual going on right now. A lot of kids are going out and getting candy and whatnot, and they're just hopefully they are, get some education out of it. Someone tells them that this holiday, an Irish holiday, it's amazing. The Irish have what, two holidays in America, where they have Halloween and what's that? One in March, St. Patrick's Day. Daily life of twirl. What's going on? All right. Well, like, fam, I'm just going to get into a couple of things. I'm not going to be in the garden long tonight. I just kind of want to reiterate on some information I talked about earlier in my last video when I talked about how to know that the stock market is overvalued, as well as when would be a great time to actually start investing. Okay. Now, remember, the stock market, as I mentioned earlier, is overvalued. And with that being said, there were some numbers, some indicators that kind of let us know that. But just in layman's terms, if you didn't get a chance to, all right now, if you didn't get a chance to see the last video, in layman's terms, when I say the stock market is overvalued, all I'm basically saying is these companies, right, that are producing and manufacturing all these goods and services, not making a lot of money on the earnings, but the share prices are very high. That's called a high valuation. And time to give you something where you can actually relate to. Would you want to go buy a pair of Air Jordans for $800 today when you can wait 2 weeks or a month and get them for $50? See, that's basically the whole reason why I was talking about how the stock market is overvalued and how this isn't really indicative of a great economy. Like President Trump said, this is the best economy. Now, just relatively speaking, yes, because it's the highest it's ever been. But I mean, if I have $5 today and I get $10 next week, that's a lot. That's 50% more money I had the week before. That's great, but that's not indicative of how much money I really have. The stock market, yes, it's the highest it's ever been, but you're talking about over years and years and years and years, you dig? But nevertheless, just because it's at its highest point doesn't mean that the companies that people are investing in are making money. And so eventually something got to hit the fan. See, remember, family, we're in a debt-laden economy. A lot of these corporations are building their companies and building their wealth off of debt. Why? Because remember, real news, interest rates are really, really low right now. And so it is a great time for businesses or those who have great credit to go out and get loans. But like anything, the banks are also seeing the same thing that myself and a lot of other people are seeing. We're seeing that the market is overvalued, right? And so what that does is makes people more weary about buying stocks now or giving people loans, even though the interest rates are very, very low. So really right now we're looking at a skeleton of an economy being built up on false numbers. And see, this is the speculation. You can look this up. And family, make sure you push the like button, guys. I love to hear you see those likes, see those thumbs up. And make sure you hit the notification button so you know when I'm dropping another video. No doubt, no doubt. Thank you, Daily Life. Appreciate it, brother. See you tomorrow. All right. So with that being said, this isn't speculation. This is basically an economy where a majority of these companies are trading at higher prices than the company actually is worth, for its earnings and making money. And what that basically means, family, is what they call a PE ratio. And I mentioned in my past video, a PE ratio is price to earnings. Now, you don't want to pay, 30 times, 40 times the price of the earnings. For every dollar of earnings that a company makes, you paying $20 or $30 over. No, you don't want to do that. You want your price to earnings ratio to be, somewhere between 12 to 15. And the S&P 500 family, the top 500 companies in the United States, over the course of its history, over the last 10, 15 years rather, it's been trading like 15. Now it's like at 30, 35. That's a high PE ratio. So smart people, what you'd rather be doing right now is saving your money. Okay, if you didn't get a chance, watch that video, Save Your Cash for the Crash. Go check that out. Save your money, and then get yourself prepared by educating yourself first, making sure you're getting some good education, financial education. And one of the books, family, like I said, this is for entertainment purposes only. And one of the books I would definitely want to suggest is a book called Motley Fool Investment Guide, The Motley Fool Investment Guide by David and Tom Gardner. This is a great read, family. I would definitely take you to this. Put this in your memory Rolodex and read through it. You're going to find a lot of information that can really, really help you when you start investing and start trying to get this change. Okay? Ryan, what to do? Yes, the FANG stocks are very overvalued. No doubt. They are very overvalued. What Ryan means by the FANG stocks, family, he means Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, and Google. FANG, and those companies that are very, very overvalued right now, family, make sure that you check into your 401k or your 403b or 457, whatever mutual funds or pension plan that you have that's tracking the S&P 500, that you're basically giving your money, contributed every month or every 2 weeks to a 401k or 403b. Remember, that money is going towards mutual funds, okay? And a lot of these mutual funds, family, are tied up into the FANG stocks, okay, which are the big wigs. And once there's a recession, or once the company has to identify with the fact that we're not making earnings, and what's going to happen, investors, okay, remember, it's not us that's going to make this correction happen. Remember, we're only like 3 or 4% of the entire Wall Street market of investors. So we're talking the big wigs, the millionaires, the multi-billionaires that are going to pretty much dictate this market crash, because they're going to be checking quarterly statements, annually statements to see the earnings. And if they see that these companies are making money, what are they going to do? They're going to sell off. And when the sell-off happens, family, that's when it's going to be blood in the streets. And when it's blood in the streets, that's when you buy. Creep up on 610, 617, what it do? Okay? And so before I leave, family, there are a couple of things I would definitely like you guys look into. Learn, and of course, you got access to the internet. You can just type it in. Balance sheets, okay? Learn how to read a balance sheet, okay? Because what a balance sheet is, it gives you an idea about how a company's doing at a given time, like every 3 months or every year. They have annual balance sheets. They have quarterly balance sheets. And these balance sheets actually give you an idea about the company's financial situation. So you got quarterly reports, you have financial statements, profit and loss statements, and one of the big ones, family, is the cash flow statement. If you don't learn anything, family, you need to learn how to read a cash flow statement. Remember, now if you want to be just on a passive tip and have somebody else invest your money for you, I'm not an advocate of that, because what that comes with fees. Okay, that comes with other, that's at the end of the day, at the end of the year, end of 5 years or 10 years, those fees add up and it can dip into your returns. Okay. So I think it's best, family, that we get this food for thought, stay in the garden, get this knowledge, learn how to read your own balance sheets and cash flow statements. And I'm going to be coming back with some information on that on the whiteboard, family, so we can actually do some visuals. Okay. But in the meantime, between time, let's make sure that we want to increase that financial literacy, right? Because right now, like I say, the stock market is overvalued. I think at the current moment, if you want to look it up, family, it's called market capitalization to GDP. If you want to look it up, right now, I think it's at like 144%. Now, at a good time to buy is like in the 90s, 95, 96. It's 144%. Those are real numbers, okay? And what that means is the value of the stock market, okay? The value of the stock market is way more valuable than GDP, okay? The gross domestic product, or even the gross national product for that matter. So our economy isn't growing at the same pace as the stock market. That's the discrepancy. And if you look at the history of the stock market and the history of this economy, it has always receded or depressed or corrected itself when it's in that particular situation. Family makes sense. I mean, it's common sense if you ask me. All right. So I want to come back with a little food for thought on that real news. Yes, President Trump says this is the best the economy's ever had. The stock market's doing its best it's ever done. It has. Because if you look back what the stock market of Dow Jones and S&P 500 was 10 years ago, you'll see it was a lot lower. And of course, it's higher now. So yes, he's right. I mean, it's the best it's ever been, but the value of it is overvalued. All right. So stack that change, family. Make sure you get yourself together for this particular crash. And another thing I wanted to hit on, family, like I say, your health is your wealth. And one thing that I thought was pretty startling is the fact that we have like 44% of United States citizens are on some type of prescription drug. That's kind of disheartening. 44%, that's like over 130, 140 million people taking at least one prescription drug. 17% of the population are taking 3 or more. So what does that tell you? Now we've given the pharmaceutical companies an opportunity to not only dip into our pockets from the tax standpoint, but if you look at the price of prescription drugs, come on, man. A lot of people are having to make decisions on whether or not they're going to eat or take their prescription drugs, or buy the prescription drugs or the medications. Take insulin for instance. Insulin has went up every year, and I'm talking substantial price growth, increases. And a lot of people can't keep up with that. But I realize people with diabetes, they die without insulin. And you got to ask yourself, what type of company, what type of pharmaceutical company will create a medication that they know is vital for not only people's livelihood, but for their, health, for that matter. Who in their right mind will price a drug that important, that high? Cancer treatments, high blood pressure medications, arthritis medication, heart disease medication. I mean, why is it that the most specialized drugs are the most expensive? You would think that you're in this business to help others. I mean, to get rich and rich and rich at the expense of others' life. Because remember, these drugs never, ever cure. They only treat. So you got to really ask yourself, what's really the motive behind these pharmaceutical companies? And when you watch the television and you see these children on TV, and they put these cancer children on TV, talking about, we're trying to end cancer, we're trying to fight for cancer, we're trying to fight for a cure. Wait a minute. How is it that you're fighting for a cure, but the medication that you're giving are killing us? Come on now. And if you look at the price of medications overseas, family, and this is what blows me away. LB, teach me. This is what blows me away. The fact that in the UK, in Ireland, in Scotland, Sweden, you can purchase these same drugs. In Mexico, you can purchase these same drugs for 50, 100% cheaper. Why are the U.S. pharmaceutical companies charging the citizens, United States citizens, 70, 100% more for the same drug that they charge to the people overseas? Who does that? I mean, and remember, family, if you vote, okay, Congress decides this. Okay, the people that you never see that lives in Washington, D.C., but they're supposed to be representing Houston, they represent Texas, represent all the states, but they're only in Washington, D.C. How is it that they're not making laws? Remember, family, this is the legislative branch. They can just go in there and make the law. They can write it. Why isn't these guys going in and writing these laws and presenting them to the committee, congressional hearings over these particular, uh, you know, issues? Wouldn't you think when you have 44% of the population on one prescription medication and 17% of the population taking at least three prescription drug medications, wouldn't that cause, sound for the alarms? I mean, not just opioids. I'm talking drugs that people need to survive. Insulin, okay? Beta blockers, okay? This is ridiculous. And of course, before we can see any type of relief, of course, there's going to be a situation where the Democrats and the Republicans will have to fight each other and have to decide which one is going to do what's best for the people. But you know what? They never do. Remember, the tax cut didn't help us. It helped the rich. And that's why it's important for you to make sure you put yourself in a predicament, because when this market corrects itself, and if you just joined me, family, remember, I've talked about how this market is overvalued by at least 144%. If you're getting into the value of investing, normally you want to get in at 93%, 97%, high 80s. That's an undervalued market where you can get in and get some good value, get some good stocks and investment opportunities for little money. When you're talking 144%, 150%, that's a market that's overvalued. Just like these prescription drugs are overvalued. But the only difference is we know that the market is going to correct itself because it's going to be self-generating. When the millionaire investors find out that these companies are not making money, they're going to sell off. Family, make sure you push that like button. Okay? And of course, family, like LB Teachman said, and like RJ said, the big pharmaceutical companies, the big agricultural companies, the big tech companies, they dictate policy, unfortunately. All we basically can do is eat cake and watch the bread and circus. Unless you get in this garden, get this food for thought, pay yourself first, and then get a piece of the pie. And the only way you're going to do it, family, is by getting yourself more financially literate. Okay, it's really quite easy, family. If you put your mind to have a definiteness of purpose, it can happen. But you have to basically increase your wages. It's not going to happen just working for somebody. And so some ways I'm talking about would be some, trying to generate some passive income. And some of the ways you can generate passive income, family, hey, Lyft, Uber, YouTube, okay? Right now I'm writing a book. You dig? Jasmine in the house. All right? So anything that you can, generate passive income, family, that income could go towards investing. LB teach me. Oh, and that's what's up on the Acorns. And let me go ahead and get into that. Thank you, LB. Guys, I can't reiterate enough about the Acorns app, especially for my younger audience, for those who just get into the investment game. And remember, I say change, right? But I say that change for my sons, not no more. That change is going into the Acorns app. That change is going into investment opportunities for them right now. Because remember, we spend all the time. Why not make that change go towards something that you know is going to be worthwhile? It's going to compound growth over time. And I'm talking about the Acorns app. And if you have any questions, I got my email address in the description box, guys. It's beingwillie56@gmail.com. Remember, for entertainment purposes only. But I promise you, it's a great opportunity, especially for my young audience in the garden, to start investing. Okay? And then from there, you can start getting this knowledge. And if you just joined me, family, I recommended The Motley Fool Investment Guide by David and Tom Gardner. It's a great read, all right? Give you a lot of information about the technical and fundamental analysis about investing, i.e. balance sheets, PE ratios, earning per share, all the stuff I kind of talk about that I'm going to get into more extensively is right here, okay? And every week, guys, I'm going to be coming with some literature so you guys can start your library, all right? All right, fam, like I say, and the last thing I want to talk about, matter of fact, Brian, thanks for joining me in the garden. Yeah, Robinhood has that's also a great opportunity for young investors. But uh, with Robinhood, it's such a new platform for us as a brokerage firm. Uh, I prefer more on the Fidelity, E-Trade, Charles Schwab side of things. But Robinhood is good because it's like I said, it's zero commissions, and they have a huge platform, and they do offer stocks. I think they have Bitcoin. I think they also have. I think they also can do option trading now. So, yeah, family, if you haven't had a chance to look into Robinhood, look into Robinhood as well. That's a great platform if you're just starting out too. All right. But Acorns app is a cool platform because it gives you an opportunity to save every time you spend. Okay. Every time you spend. So, like I say, for an example, if you buy something for $3.50, well, you know that 50 cents is going towards your investment portfolio. Or if it's $4.12, you know that 88 cents is going towards something positive, something that you know is going to grow. You did? Letitia, thanks for joining me. Okay? So, like I said, I just want to come back with a little food for thought. Appreciate you guys joining me in the garden. And the last thing I want to say, family, isn't it ironic and isn't it kind of crazy and kind of suspicious that life insurance is cheaper than health insurance? Wouldn't you think if they really loved us and they really had our best interests at heart, that you would give us health insurance at a cheaper price opposed to cheap life insurance? How's that going to help me now? If I got diabetes or high blood pressure, then how's this cheap life insurance going to help me? I need cheap health insurance. And this whole notion of, free health care for everyone, and this whole debate from the politics about their love for the American people. The American people prefer to have employment, preferably that keeps up with inflation. Okay? So if you are going to tell us that inflation is going up 2% every year, wouldn't it stand the reason that as politicians, if you really care for the American people, that you would make sure that everyone receives a raise that's comparable to inflation? Okay? So now my wage is going to be able to keep up with inflation. Because remember, like I told you in my last video, family, inflation is just a low-key tax hidden in plain sight. They tell you 2% every year. So if you're telling me 2% every year, that means my dollar's not going to be worth more next year. It's going to be less. So that's a tax. You did? So if you're really concerned with the people, politicians, you would write laws that will make sure that everyone have affordable health care. Not this Obamacare, but real affordable health care. And not, penalize somebody financially if they don't get that. I mean, stand the reason. I mean, you get cheap life insurance. Okay? And then when it's time to cash in on your life insurance, it's not there. Come on, man. So just a little food for thought, family. Like I say, remember, your health is your wealth. Fortunately, family, like I said, make sure you push that like button. Fortunately, family, I don't take any medication. I'll be 51 years old in a couple of months. And, I've been fortunate enough to take care of my body, eat well, drink a lot of water, and leave that fast food alone. You did? Because your health is your wealth. And taking these medications, family, I promise you, these medications are in your body to get your body hooked. What do you think this is called a drug? If they tell you cocaine and heroin and opioids and all that kind of stuff can get you hooked, wouldn't it stand the reason that insulin and beta blockers and high blood pressure medications and dopamine and all that kind of stuff can get you hooked? See, they talking about you being hooked mentally on the drug. They're not talking about you being hooked involuntarily inside, because remember, you don't control what happens inside. Your stomach does what it does. Your intestine does what it does. Your lungs does what it does. Your heart does what it does. And when it's infiltrated with a lot of these foreign drugs, eventually it's going to want more and more. You did? So your body becomes addicted. And that's why Dr. Sebi and a lot of other herbalists have preached about the essence of natural healing yourselves. Drink a lot of water, eat a lot of fruits and vegetables. Because you only live once. All right? And remember, your imagination has way more power than your intellect. Okay? All right, guys, family. Thanks for joining me in the garden. In the meantime, between time, and the most times, how you bring you joy. And being Willie is 95,000. Thank you, Letitia, Ryan, LB Teach Me. Byron, guys, thank you, guys. Love you guys, and Bean with us out.